Hello, this is Mrs. Poland for AP Statistics Lesson 1.07 on comparing distributions. In this video, I'm going to go over example 2, where we're examining the number of home runs from Babe Ruth between 1920 and 1934, as well as Roger Maris over his last 10 years. And they actually give us in this problem a back-to-back stem plot. Before we actually respond to the prompt, what I'd like to do is show you how you yourself can easily recreate that graph. So what I want you to do is open up a PDF of the lesson in Schoology. You can use either the blank PDF or the solutions. And I also want you to go into Staplet. So let's go there. So in Staplet, what you're going to do is choose, it's a quantitative variable because we're dealing with home runs, and it's multiple groups. So we're going to click on that. And I don't know why this is not working. Let's try this again. Okay, better. And we're going to say number of home runs. And we have Babe Ruth. So I'm just going to abbreviate it, Babe and Maris. And what you can do is if you click on the data set and just highlight and go Control C, you can go Control V and you paste it in. And now let's do the same thing with Maris. Control C. And now we entered our data. It's just that simple. And begin analysis. So there's our dot plot. And if you hit the drop-down menu, you can recreate a histogram. And if you hit the drop-down menu, you can create a box plot. So those of you without calculators, even though I'd like you to get the experience of using the TI Nspire, you certainly can use the Staplet temporarily. And then if you scroll down, there's our stem plot. And there, it's that easy to recreate the back-to-back stem plot this way. And now we're going to move on. Notice how they do calculate the median and all the quartiles for you, but I also want to show you how to do that by hand, because on the AP exam and my test, you won't have Staplet. So let's go back to the problem. So we want to compare the distributions, and the minimum features that you need to compare, you should be thinking SOX. So SOX stands for the shape, any outstanding features. Typically we discuss outliers and gaps and spread. And you actually have to compare. You can't just list out Maris's and list out Babe Ruth's. That's not comparing. You actually have to use words of comparing. How are they similar and how are they different? And each feature one by one. So let's first examine the shape of Maris's graph, and then we'll do Babe Ruth. It can be a little confusing to look at a stem plot, so I advise you to turn your paper horizontally. So I can't do that with the computer for you to visually see, so I just took a snapshot of this, and here I'm going to do that. Okay. So now I'm gonna, for Roger Maris, and when you're rotating it, your stem has to go from least to greatest. And now I'm going to make a smooth curve around it. And you can see that that Maris's distribution is skewed to the right. Now let's look at Babe Ruth's. Now Babe Ruth's, you still have to have the direction of your stem going from least to greatest, so 0 to 6, so it's going from left to right. But you're going to draw a smooth curve around it, and this is where it's a little bit tricky. In your head, you have to flip over that bottom graph. And so, I wonder if I can do that. Hold on. Maybe if I go like this, and let's see if there's a feature that lets me rotate it over. I can't really figure it out now, and I don't want to waste time, but I think there is. But just know that it's going to look like this when you flip it over, and so therefore I would say it's roughly symmetric. Okay. So we see that Babe Ruth's is roughly symmetric, whereas Maris's is skewed to the right. And so you can put the video on hold at any time, so you really need to record this in your notes. Remember, I'm going this extra step because I want to make sure that you're understanding all aspects. You can speed this video up. Okay, so you make the statement. Now, the next is any outstanding features. Now, for Babe Ruth, we see that there's a gap between 39. Remember, you have to include the stem when you're discussing the numbers, between 39 home runs and 61 home runs. So that's a pretty big gap. And I don't see that same kind of gap in Babe Ruth's distribution. So the distribution for Maris's shows the gap. And I didn't state it in my solutions. You probably can get away without, but it's probably better to literally state that Babe Ruth's, we're not seeing any potential outliers or gaps or any unusual features. Next, we discuss the center. Now, we like to use the mean, but we can't use the mean and we could use possibly the mean for Babe Ruth, because the distribution is roughly symmetric. But Roger Maris, we see that the distribution is skewed to the right. And because of that, we have to use the mean for Roger Maris. Therefore, when you're using comparisons, you can either compare median to median or mean to mean. But since we have to do the median for Roger Maris, we have to do the median for Babe Ruth. So how do we calculate this mean? Roger Maris, we know has 10 pieces of data. Therefore, the position of the median is between the 5th and 6th piece of data. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so it's going to be the average of 23 plus 26 divided by 2, and that should be 24.5. Let me just double check. And that's correct. So that's the median for Maris. For Babe Ruth, we go ahead and we see we have 15 pieces of data. And so if I divide that by 2, I get it's 7.5. So when you have an odd piece of data, an odd number, when you have an odd number of pieces of data in your data set, you take that actual data value, divide 15 by 2 in this case, you get 7.5 and round up. So it's in the 8th position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that means, let me just do 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that means the median is 46. And so we see that Babe Ruth actually has a greater median, and you have to state that. So you could say greater than, I said much higher, And again, you can put the video on hold to record that. Okay, and next we want to discuss the spread. Again, since the distribution from Roger Maris is skewed, you can't use the standard deviation. You can use the range or the IQR. And I believe in my notes, I use the IQR, and so we're going to just practice that skill. So to get quartile 3, we're looking at the median of the first half of the data, and so you would look at the first 5 values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you divide that by 2, that means that the quartile is in position 3, so 1, 2, 3, so that would be 14. And to get quartile 3, again, you're going to look at the second half of the data, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it would be in the 3rd position, 1, 2, 3, and that would be 33. So the IQR (33 minus 14) is 19. Now let's look at Babe Ruth's. So Babe Ruth's, we're going to be looking at the first 7 numbers, right? Because you had 15, the median was position 8, and so it would be the data value in the 4th position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would be 35. And now we want to do quartile 3. So looking at that second half of the data, it would be in the 4th position, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would be 54. So (54 minus 35) is 19. Okay, so so the IQR is the same for both. But if you take a closer look, we see that the range for Babe Ruth is 60 minus 22, which is 38, and the range for Maris is 45 because it's 61 minus 8. Oh, I think wait, 61 minus 8 is 53, so we'll change this to 53. So wait, hold on, let me see. So this should be 38. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful to you, and I will see you on Monday. Thank you.